they need to, no.
Grade 12.
I won't. But I mean, like, if you want to add the course with your child, you really need to make sure you read over the summary, make sure they thoroughly enjoy it and they know they'll enjoy it. Obviously, they can change when they get to school. If they don't like it, they can go to their guidance counselor. But if it's something that you know ahead of time, it saves them that trip down to guidance.
And I think you can make 2 or 3 plans for yourself, and then you can compare them back to back. So if you plan 1 and a plan 2, which is handy because you can do the comparisons. Sarah, just can't close that for us for 1 second. And I just wanted to show over here, just choose one of these programs. So right now, based upon what Sarah's finished in secondary school, these are the programs that are available to her. And what I like about this is these are all the different, it causes your kids to think, oh, I never thought about that. What's that all about? They begin to, they're inquisitive. They begin to sort of look and find out. They may discover an area that is of interest that they didn't even know existed. So that's the beauty of it. So Sarah, can we click on just one?
Sure. The great thing too is it's in alphabetical order, so you can just skim down, and also you can compare the 2 schools. So I don't know, let's go with acting. You click on that, and then I think you can click on this, and then you just compare the 2. So it shows the different, so comparing them right now, Bachelor of Fine Arts and what, they kind of look the same here, but you see there's a description for the University of Regina, but there's not one for Trinity Western, so you just have that comparison and be able to see what it would be like to go to this university opposed to this university, and what would really, is there co-op opportunities, is there anything like that that my child might really want, so.
Just scroll down for me.
It doesn't scroll.
Well, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but these updates and descriptors are in real time. So if there's a change at the university, or if there's at the college or the apprenticeship program, it will show up here. So that's the other nice thing, is even this, we've only had this in print for 2 years, but already the ministry has made a change around some of the co-op options on the bottom of this. So we have to update and republish.
And you can also add a university to your favorites. As you can see, like right here, you can add it to your favorites, and then that way you can refer back to it at any time you want to. Or you can also print it too. So let's say they do this on their own and they like run up to you, show the printout, like at least you'll be able to see that too.
The tabs are very, I think that's what Mr. Burns is looking for. The tabs will tell you about how to, admissions requirements, how expensive it is.
Oh, that's what I was
That's what he's
thinking.
looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of scrolling down, it's actually.
I haven't had a chance to actually play with this myself.
So it shows the averages, and I guess it's kind of low for acting.
What are the check marks? Are those required? That's actually yours?
I mean, it might be mine, yeah.
It says you've got them, you've met the prerequisites then? Does it automatically say you've got your prerequisites for that?
I guess so. I haven't done this yet.
That's what it looks like.
So because drama and acting is something that I want to get into, that's probably why it shows all the check marks, because I've done those areas. But grade 12 grade 12 English I haven't done, that's next semester, so sometimes it might not show. I know last summer, because I didn't plug in that I was taking grade 12 English yet, since that's a prerequisite and you need that in order to graduate. It didn't show any universities that were available. But that's not anything to be freaked out about. Don't freak out your children about that, because it just means you don't have all they're required to graduate, so that means the university option wouldn't be open yet.
But what it might cause your child to do, your student to do, is to go and say, oh, I do want to pursue this particular path or program at college, university, wherever it happens to be. What do I need now to get myself there? Maybe that's the incentive they need to get that math credit or to get that English credit or whatever it happens to be. You know, it's amazing when you've got a target that you're aiming for, what a difference that makes in terms of your enthusiasm. So that's why I really like the way my blueprint works.
So there's, like you were saying too, there's also expenses. So what it would be like if I actually went to one of these schools.
This is my favorite page.
So, yeah, cost of a bus pass. Good to know. just, I mean, even like small things that you might be worried about, it's right here, so that's good. So we can, there's tons of stuff to go on to this too, I know.
So, Sarah,
Yeah.
I don't want to discourage you because your presentation has been excellent, given that you had absolutely no notion this morning that you would be.
That's true.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
But Sarah could go on, I think, because I think it gives you a sense of what it does and how you can gain access to it. Because I do have a couple of other things that I wanted to sort of just get through. Sarah, again, I'm not trying to cut you off. I totally appreciate it. And you're hired for the third session. Sarah, you're with me in the third session, correct?
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so that was my blueprint. Let me just take you, that takes me back to my blueprint. Wait now, because I've got my presentation here. There we go. So there's your codes. Okay, so you may want to jot those down. If anybody needs a pen,
Oh,
we have a couple, but it looks like everybody has a
does
pen.
anyone need a pen?
So depending upon if you're grade 7 or grade 8, then you would be looking at using the, everybody belongs to a family of schools, so depending upon what family you belong to and the high school that you're associated with, then you would use this as your access code. For assumption,
Is it case sensitive? Is it case sensitive?
it's not case sensitive. Okay? And the only reason why this becomes important is because you don't always have the same programs offered at Notre Dame that are offered at, say, Loyola. Okay? And then you can create an account, as far as I know, for yourself, and just so that you can play with it yourself and explore on your own. Get that second career going. Can I leave this page? If anybody has missed it, we can always put it back up at the end. Just in terms of guidance, is I find this difficult myself with my, because I will hear different messages from different people. And so for me, and this is totally personal, when you are looking at your career path and exploring, we have to be realistic. That's why I put this little skater here. You know, when you're little, my memory would be of I'm playing in the NHL, or I'm doing this, whatever it happens to be. But you better be realistic about your skill set. We're all different. We all have gifts. They're not the same. That doesn't mean that we can't improve upon the skills that we have, but let's be realistic about what skill set we have and what we can bring. And kids aren't very good. None of us are very good at this. But my suggestion would be, you don't know what you're good at, ask somebody around you. They'll tell you what you're good at. Okay? They'll recognize those good qualities in you before we sometimes recognize in ourselves. So, ask others. This was a little bit of information, because I guess we all get sucked into this void. The advice was concentrate on the things that you're good at and make them better. Because, again, this is just parent to parent here, but once you discover the things that you're good at, work on those to make them better, because you can invest a whole lot of time into that, those unrealistic goals you might have, and try to make all the qualities that you're not very good at better. You'll get more bang for your buck out of discovering the things you're good at and improving on those. Now, I'm not saying, well, gee, I don't read very well, so we'll just toss that out the window. I mean, obviously, everybody has to learn how to read. We need a level of competence with reading, writing, critical thinking,
all of those things. But when it gets to those skill sets that you have, work on those. So I thought that was good advice. And then that was sort of in the contrast up against, well, geez, kids, the day when you have a job for the next 30 years, those days are gone. You're probably going to be switching jobs 4 or 5 times, you know? And that's, so those kinds of are juxtaposed to each other. So, but what you do bring to the next job that you're in is the skills that you have mastered and improved upon. So yes, you may be changing jobs, but you're still bringing the same skill set to those new jobs. I put this in. We won't go to it. It's Ontario Skills Passport. That's sort of like my blueprint in terms of your skill set and looking at different jobs that would be available. And what it does is it matches an inventory of essential skills that you would need to bring to that job. Well, we'd spend a whole session just on Ontario Skills Passport. But essentially it would be, well, so you are interested in a particular field. Well, what kind of a mathematical skill set do you need? What's the level of literacy that you need for that particular occupation? And that I did put a link in here, but we won't explore it at the moment. Which is fine, because I know that there's enormous amount of information I can unleash on you, but I don't want to overwhelm people. If I can just direct your attention to that sort of green paper. And these are regional programs. And these programs are those programs that are available to students once they hit that grade 11 and grade 12. Thanks for that. And we've just updated this, so this is our current list. And we try to do things when we look at specialty programs, we try to do things in conjunction with the public board. Because we don't have auto collision repair. We don't have a full-blown chef's kitchen. We do have welding and manufacturing. We do have an exceptional health and wellness program running. We deliberately try to put programs available to students so that we're not competing with each other, but so that it gives the widest availability of program in a specialty area available to all of our students. So if there's a program that you see that's not offered in our board, but is offered in the other board, then they are welcome to apply for it. And if they would like to come back after they finish and graduate with their home school, we can work that through as well, okay? Now, I'm not saying we're not trying to get rid of our students. We love our students. We want to keep our students.
But why don't we have those,
facilities?
Those subjects and facilities available to...
They're very expensive to run. So, for example, Robert Bateman has got an enormous industrial kitchen, but they couldn't possibly put that kind of a kitchen at every single high school. And then they don't even themselves run, they've got auto repair and auto painting at Bateman as well, but they just don't have the facilities to do that at another location. It's just impossible to do.
So why do they have it there? Like, how did that happen as opposed to, from what you just described to me, it sounds like if you're not in the Catholic school system, they're going to spend a bit more money in public school systems to have specialized facilities.
Well, sometimes a specialized facility is a result of when the school was built.
Okay.
So, for example, there's a new school going in Milton. And so we're trying to look at placing something at that new high school, which is not going to be in competition with programs that we have at Bishop Redding at the moment.
Right.
So we've a couple of our specialist programs are in transportation, electrical, and construction that exist at BR.
Yep.
So we're looking at trying to implement and build a facility that would address heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and then make that a magnet school for HVAC, basically. So, and then in that way, we can't reinvent everything for all people in all locations. So we've got an opportunity there to actually put a program that we get to grow and nurture. So they don't have a similar program in the public board in Milton that will address that need, which is why we would build something, a facility like that.
Yeah, would they consider like putting in a chef's kitchen at the new high school there?
I
Or is
think
it
they
just
actually
cost
are.
prohibitive?
No, I think it's partly around, I mean, you're looking at important architectural decisions as well that you have to live with for a very long time. And so nowadays the feeling is to make a space as versatile as possible. Now obviously if you're looking at putting in an industrial kitchen, that locks up that space for a very long time. And hopefully there will be a demand that a program could exist there that students are interested in taking for the next 30 years. 30 years, how long, right?
20, right?
At least 20.
Yeah.
So it's not an easy decision to make because there's a lot of upfront. And there's a little bit of chicken and the egg, because then do you put a program there, put the facility there, and then the students aren't interested? Then what do you have? You know, you have this great facility and nobody making use of it. So it's not easy to do, and those kinds of decisions happen at a higher level than me. That's for sure.
All right, I was just trying to get a grasp of.
No, it's a very good question, and it basically becomes, I think, where are we going to get the biggest bang for our buck? Where the job opportunities lie, and how are we preparing our kids for those opportunities that exist? Sorry, this has just gone on snooze. Good question, no thank you. If you look inside here, I'm going to spend a little, again, I don't want to overwhelm, I want to spend a little bit of time just looking at apprenticeship for a moment. All of these are tied to cooperative education, by the way. And cooperative education is worth 2 credits. You can take more if you want, but they are credits just like a math credit would be, just like a phys ed credit would be. The nice thing about cooperative education is the classroom becomes the workplace for that student, and the learning takes place in the workplace. All of these programs, I'll emphasize to you, they're not anything other than an opportunity for kids to still meet that goal of the Ontario Secondary School Diploma. Sometimes parents come in and they think, oh, I'm doing a specialist high skills major program, or I'm doing an Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program, and they somehow think it's different than everything else. Not at all. The students are still working towards accumulating those credits so that they can graduate. And no matter how much training we give our kids, we're just giving them that next step to get to an opportunity where they will have to receive higher levels of skills and training, whether that happens through an apprenticeship, through college, or through university. I'm not going to get through all of this. So I'm going to cut it off right there. I think I've given you enough, and Sarah's given you a wonderful sort of foot into my blueprint. My blueprint is the springboard for all of this in my mind, because in my blueprint it talks about the exits: apprenticeship, college, university, or workplace. You will need to familiarize yourself with all of these terms and how they work, but you've got a little bit of a segue now, I think, that you're discovering new terms, you're discovering new opportunities for your kids, and so consolidate those questions so that the next time you're in one of our schools, you can approach somebody and ask for more information. Guidance counselors, cooperative education teachers, subject teachers are getting better. I think the technical teachers are quite handy at understanding all of these terms. But take those questions, write them down, and bring them back in, and avail yourself of every opportunity that you have to get inside of the schools and meet the people that are in the schools, because they're there to help. That's what their job is to help you navigate through it, and help your kids navigate through it as well. So I thank you for coming. I hope you picked up something. So what do we have now, a break for a little bit? Or is it straight to session 2? Or is it, yes.
These weekend programs, the only problem is I can't remember how to get